It's July 1st, 1863. The men of the 20th Maine Regiment have just entered Pennsylvania. Over the course of a long, hot, and humid day, women and children step out of their modest homes to cheer on the Union soldiers as they march and to offer them water and milk. The 20th Maine finally stops just after midnight, 4 miles southeast of the market town of Gettysburg. They've walked nearly 30 miles since waking up that morning. Bedding down for the night, they hear the recurring boom of cannon. The soldiers don't know what they might face on July 2nd, but they know their colonel. He has earned their trust. The colonel of the 20th Maine was 34-year-old Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, husband of Frances Caroline Adams, known as Fanny, the love of his life, and father of 6-year-old Grace and 4-year-old Willies. Chamberlain stood 5 feet 10.5 inches tall, but with a ramrod-straight posture that made him appear closer to 6 feet. A handsome man with a lean, strong build, sandy-colored hair, and a ferocious mustache, Chamberlain's sparkling blue eyes conveyed his interest and affection for the volunteer soldiers he led. Yet he was an unlikely military leader. Mild-mannered, soft-spoken, amiable, and good-humored, Chamberlain worked as a professor at small Bowdoin College in far-off Brunswick, Maine, before enlisting. He was a man of intellectual curiosity and deep Christian faith, fluent in 9 languages, who interspersed his lectures with allusions to Athens and Rome and quotations from Dante and Goethe. No one would have predicted that this learned professor from a quiet northern town would become a confident Union officer prepared to lead his men in the epic Battle of Gettysburg. Chamberlain prized duty as a central ethical imperative. He was an ardent believer in the Union. Born only 50 years after the nation's founding, for him the idea of the Union was not simply a political reality, but a spiritual and transcendent truth. He did not initially rush to enlist in the Union Army in the spring of 1861, but in the months that followed, as he watched his Bowdoin students join up, with some ending up captured or killed, duty called him to offer his service. Chamberlain was idealistic, ambitious, high-spirited, loyal, and courageous. He could also be impetuous and stubborn. At Gettysburg, he would need to draw upon every one of his qualities. He and the men of the 20th Maine would be tested at a place called Little Round Top, defending the far left of the Union line. In a fierce battle, Maine lumbermen, farmers, and small shopkeepers battled Alabamians, led by William Oates, also a courageous colonel. As the combat, fought with bayonets and pistols and hand-to-hand, surged back and forth, the 20th Maine Volunteers began to run out of ammunition. With the outcome of the deadly struggle in doubt, Chamberlain called out, "Bayonet!" after a breathless silence, as if a spark had lit a fire. First, a few men on the left wing sprang forward. Then a few more men on the right wing leaped into the fray. Now shouting, the Maine soldiers plunged down the tree-lined, boulder-strewn slope, surprising the stunned Confederate troops who either surrendered or ran in defeat. Outnumbered and out of ammunition, Chamberlain had led the 20th Maine to victory. The victory at Little Round Top on July 2, 1863, would change his life forever. 1 year after Gettysburg, at Petersburg, Virginia, Chamberlain suffered such a grievous wound that physicians told him he would die. General Ulysses S. Grant promoted him on the spot so that his family would be honored by his well-deserved recognition. Accepting this verdict, Chamberlain wrote his wife Fanny a remarkable letter about his faith and his love for her. He did not, in fact, die, but would live in constant pain from his war wounds and their infections for the remaining years of his life.